Hello, my name's Hayden. I'm a landscape and nature photographer based in Essex in the UK, and I thought we'd do something a little bit different in this video today. Recently I picked up a new camera and it's sitting right here on this table. This is an ICA Ideal 225. It's a 9x12cm plate camera dating from the early 1920s. Let's take a closer look. So this Ideal 225 is paired with a Carl Zeiss Tessar lens, and this one's a 13.5cm with an aperture of f4.5, so that's quite nice and fast for the time period, that being the early 1920s. That's also paired with a contour shutter. This one ranges from 150th of a second to 1 second, and it also has bulb and time as well. The nice thing about this camera is we've also got a few camera movements as well. So we've got front rise and front fall, as well as left shift and right shift. And we've also got some movements with the bed of the camera as well. On the top of the camera is a small spirit level, so we can make sure the camera's level when we're out in the field. And there's also a bright viewfinder, so if we want to do quick snapshots with quick framing, we can. Okay, so now we'll just take a quick look at the bed of the camera. So what we've got here is the focusing scale, so we can see what distance we're focused at. And on this side, round here, this little knob here is the focusing knob. So we adjust that and that moves the front standard backwards and forwards to adjust our focus. And we can use that paired with the focusing scale just here, or using the ground glass in the back of the camera. There is one more way of framing up with this camera. On the front standard, we've got this wire frame which pops out, and on the back, we've got a small pop-out viewfinder, and we can use this as another way of composing our images. The nice thing about this is that the wire frame's attached to the front standard, so any camera movements that we do with that front standard translate into that wire frame. So if we are framing up using this method, it takes that into account. So I thought we'd just take a quick look at the back of the camera next, and I've got the ground glass focusing screen on there at the moment. So all we need to do is just press this little latch here, and that pops out this little sun hood on the back of the camera, and that just creates a little bit of shade for the ground glass focusing screen. I'd still recommend using a dark cloth with this camera, as it doesn't provide enough shade really to go without one. So I thought I'd just show how we change the backs on the camera, and there's a really clever system that ICA made for this. So all you have to do is just press this little lever on the top here, and the back simply just drops off like that. I can then take a plate holder, make sure it's slotted in on the bottom, and then just press either side like that, and that's it, I'm ready to take a photograph. So another great feature about this camera is that it features a double extension bellows, so it is capable of doing macro photography as well. There's these small clips just on the top and the bottom of the bellows, and that helps just to hold those double extension bellows in, so it keeps it nice and tight when you're using the camera normally. Both Ilford and Foma still make 9x12cm sheet film, and you can shoot that in this camera. All you need to do is get hold of some film sheaths which go inside the plate holders, and that just makes sure that the film sits correctly in the plate holder. Now, to test this camera out, I went onto eBay and I bought some expired plates, and I ended up picking these. These are Ilford FP4 plates, and they probably date from around the late 60s, early 70s. And I tested one out in the garden doing a little exposure test, and I'll show you that now. So this is the plate that I shot for my exposure test. Now these are originally meant to be rated at 160 ISO, but I rated mine at 5. This was to make sure that I could take into account any loss of sensitivity. So for the exposure test that I did with that first plate, I made use of my Weston Master II, and I took an incident light meter reading, and it worked really well. So I'm going to carry on using that light meter with this camera going forward. It seems quite a nice fit, especially as it has all of the older shutter and aperture combinations on there as well compared to a modern light meter. But I am also going to be making use of my Pentax Spotmeter V, as obviously that does give a nice detailed reading, especially when I'm doing my landscapes like I normally am. So for this next part of the video, I took the camera out and I shot 2 plates in quite bad weather. So I hope you enjoy these clips that are coming up. So I'm out here on location with the Ideal 225, and as you can see it started raining quite heavily. I'm just going to wait around and see if it passes a little bit, but it's not looking too promising at the moment. If not, I have got a poncho in my bag and I can put that over the camera whilst I'm setting up. As you can see, the weather's starting to get pretty bad. I'm not sure if I'm going to be able to get any more shots today, but I'm going to wait around and see if it does clear a little bit. I don't think it is, but fingers crossed. So as you can see, those plates came out really well. I'm particularly fond of the first one of Holland Brook. I had to use quite a long shutter speed in that one, so there's a lot of motion in the grass and in the water, and even the little windmill at the back, and I think that helps create quite an eerie image, particularly in that weather. I'm very pleased at how that second plate came out as well, with the small shed sitting on top of the hill, and there's that fence running up to the subject as a leading line. There's lots of detail in the grasses in the foreground as well, and it showcases what this Tessar is capable of rendering. So I hope you enjoyed this video today on this ICA Ideal 225. I've got plenty of more content planned with this camera. I've got 9 of those glass plates to finish off shooting, and I'm going to be picking up some sheet film for it as well, so stay tuned for that in the future. Don't forget to like and subscribe if you haven't done already, and press that little bell. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.